my teeth, I got a lot of shine. Running up the number, that's a lot of crime. Try to take it from me, must be out your mind. Big time, lot of slime. Smoky in the air, that's a lot of pine. Pockets running over with the dollar sign. Try to take it from me. Yeah. Big time, big time, big time. Big time. Running up the numbers, that's a lot of crime. Try to take it from me, must be out your mind. Lot of shine. Smoky in the air, that's a lot of crime. It's running over with the dollar sign. Try to take it from me. Big time. I got a lot of shine. Running up the numbers, that's a lot of grind. Try and take it from me, must be out your mind. I'm big time, lot of shine. Smoky in the air, that's a lot of crime. Pockets running over with the dollar sign. Try and take it from me, from me, from me, from me. Big time, number 9. Got it in my teeth, I got a lot of shine. Running up the numbers, that's a lot of crime. Try and take it from me, must be out your mind.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to a Monday edition of the Ysn Power Hour. DJ Oakley with you. CJ Schroeds in the bear down, and Amo is joining us yet again. Talk some basketball today before we get all started here on this 31st day, the last day of January. We got some business to tend to, namely today in sports history. And today we're going way back into 1924. So on January 31st, 1924, anybody take a stab at even what event we're going to talk about with this? Any guesses?
Olympics?
Damn you, Amo.
That's the only thing that made sense.
It was, I'm reading, this is news to me. The first ever Winter Olympics took place in 1924. And Herma Szabo of Austria wins the ladies figure skating gold medal at the Winter Olympics, the only women's event at that games. So you look at that, some history naturally, and then you think about the only women's sport at the first ever Olympics for winter. That's crazy because right now I'm almost watching primarily because what the women can do in the Olympics. I mean, it is unbelievable to see what they can do. I'm actually real geeked about this Olympics coming up. It starts this week, guys. What is it? Thursday? Thursday it starts? The 3rd? I think so. That's 21 WFMJ's coverage of the Winter Olympics starts this Thursday, February 3rd. Check your local listings. But I know we've talked about it to a couple of people. CJ, I know you're not real crazy excited about anything in the Olympics. Is there one thing you would watch if you had to watch something during the Winter Olympics? I'm excited for all of it.
Yeah, the what's it where they ski and they shoot? Is it the biathlon? Yeah, they shoot an arrow.
An arrow.
Yeah, the bow and arrow. I can't remember what it's called. I believe it's the biathlon. Where they ski and they have to ski a certain distance and then they have to shoot targets with an arrow. And it's like the sickest thing. It really is. It's really cool. And the reason I enjoy it, as I'm kind of a history geek, and in World War II, that's how the Finnish fought the Russians.
Like in a Bond movie.
Yeah, I mean, on skis in the harsh Finnish winters, that's how they fought the Russians. Yeah.
I don't know if you guys are Office fans, but it reminds me of when they were doing the Michael Scarn movie. All right, Amo, what are you thinking about watching?
Curling. I feel like that's one of.
So popular.
I just feel like that's the only sport I could actually feel like I could be good at. And I don't even know if I could, but it feels like it's the one that I can relate to.
How would you train for that?
Honestly, I mean, I guess you get on a little patch of ice and just curl some curling.
How long until we see a sport like cornhole join the Olympics?
I wouldn't be shocked if cornhole does join at some point.
There we go. It's
becoming big. Yeah,
biathlon. Yeah.
Nick Colbert knows everything. Nicky C. He's like a human dictionary, and it's like he can be a dictionary too. But he's
gonna get you a Matt Stafford.
Listen, I told you guys before the show, I cannot bring myself. I own a lot of jerseys, and I will own up to the fact that I had a Chiefs jersey on yesterday supporting Patrick Mahomes. But I will not buy a Bengals jersey, and I will not buy a Browns jersey.
What about Ravens?
I already have a Ravens jersey. But in my defense...
Oh, it's Matthew Wolf, right?
Derek Wolf, yeah. In my defense,
Matthew.
It's Derek Wolf,
and
he's a Beaver local grad. So that's actually going to go here. So any local guy, I'm going to buy their jersey. Like I have a JT Miller jersey, Vancouver jersey. I'm going to get that because I think it's cool to showcase the local talent that makes it professionally. So
his grandpa worked at Butech Bliss when I was there.
Oh yeah,
yeah, he was a great guy.
The Millers are a great family.
He loved talking about his grandsons.
Of course, and, what grandfather doesn't love talking about their grandkids?
I've heard through the grapevine, the youngest one's really, really good.
Matt.
Yeah.
Yes, he's very good. Ohio State guy. And
I hope they make it. I really do. I love that. That's awesome.
Here's Matt Miller was on my, I want to say 10U All-Star team for baseball.
How was he?
Oh, he was phenomenal. JT was phenomenal in baseball. Like JT would have been, JT probably would have went pro, but he liked hockey way better.
And you wouldn't think of hockey of being something from around here. You know what I mean? Like,
well, they're originally from the Pittsburgh area, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
and then they moved here. And then, and obviously,
just an awesome story.
Success. Yeah, I mean, I love the Millers. The Millers are super athletes, and they're the most competitive bunch I've ever seen in my life. Just so competitive. Like you think we're competitive?
No.
Next level stuff. Like we are truly amateurs. A little late to the party, but the Kenny Pickett jersey is already being delivered to your house. It is birthday week, boys. It is birthday week, so it wouldn't surprise me if last year we got a ping pong table from Nick Colosimo. So pressure's on. Who's coming up with the ace gift this year? Who will get repaid in just tenfold? So again, Winter Olympics start this Thursday, right? Well, I should say right here on our partner station 21 WFMJ. Make sure you tune in. I'm sure everybody will be because that's all people watch when the Olympics are on. It takes a couple of days. Once they get back in the swing of things, I think it's cool that the Summer Olympics actually got delayed, so it's like back-to-back Olympics. So
that is kind of cool.
Exciting for that. We have a lot to talk about, boys. The second half of the show, maybe the last part of the show, we'll talk about the NFL. Get people's reactions to the NFL. But as we do we always put local up front, and we have some local sports to talk about. But more importantly, we have the Power Rankings brought to you by Armidas Kachina. Of course, you can book Armidas Kachina for your graduation party today. Perfect for home graduation parties or any other outdoor setting. Amazing, unique foods, including their famous stuffed hot peppers, delicious chicken sandwiches, and more. They can even bring the music to your party to turn your party into a party. Groove it, baby. Visit armitaskachina.com or follow them on Facebook or just call 330-787-1932. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, week 9 of the Armitas Kachina's Power Rankings. This week's Power Rankings brought to you by Armitas Kachina, perfect for your graduation party. If you're looking to make a splash this graduation season, make sure you book Armitas Kachina at armitaskachina.com. And for the third week in the row, we have a new number 1 at the top of the Power Rankings. Congratulations, Howland, now 13-5, jumping up 3 spots to number 1. That means Salem slides down to 2 after a tough loss to Cardinal Mooney. Louisville comes in at number 3 at 12-5. West Branch slides down to number 4 from the 3 spot. Poland still holding strong at the number 5. Then you have Liberty, Waterloo, Canfield, Springfield, and Garfield rounding out the bunch. On to week 9 for the boys. Camel still strong after a big win against Cheney, 15-1 at the top of the polls. East Liverpool gets a win as well, stays number 2. Springfield, a couple big wins in the last week, and they are still holding at number 3. Louisville has the heart of the voters here on the Power Rankings, losing a couple games and still gaining ground at number 4. Struthers pounces back into the top 10 at number 5. Liberty also, the Leopards, finding their way in at number 6. West Branch falls after a tough loss to Salem at 13-3. They're at number 7. Heartland climbs the rankings to number 8. Then you've got Louisville and Cheney rounding out the bunch for the boys. As always, our Power Rankings brought to you by Armitas Kachina. Get your graduation party booked now. Boys, a little craziness on the Power Rankings this week, and it is all over the place. I heard Ty and Anthony talk about the top 4 being very tightly contested here in the girls' side, and the bottom 6 being contested on the boys' side. So you look at this. Yes, this was big. Mooney with a huge upset win, and that is what the major disruptor was this week, Amo. When you look at it, Howland, they're on like a 7-game win streak, if I'm not mistaken.
7 or 8, right? I don't know the number. 7 or 8.
Yeah, 7 or 8. But big. You look at it, they're right now they're playing the best basketball to me out of anybody on this entire list. Maybe for the exception of Waterloo. But Waterloo's
playing pretty good.
Yeah, they're playing unbelievable basketball. I think they're 13 straight, Waterloo. So I want to say, and here we go. Here the comments are coming in. Blows my mind how Canfield is ahead of Howland in the girls' brackets.
Is it though?
What?
I mean, Howland already beat.
Joe, I think you're mistaken, buddy. Canfield is sitting at number 8, and Howland is sitting at number 1. Nick says, how is Salem behind Howland, considering Salem beat them head-to-head? Well,
great question, Nick.
Great question. The Power Rankings are all about who is playing the best at that particular moment. So, for instance, if you rattle off 10 straight and then you lose 2, you're probably going to lose ground in the Power Rankings, right? At least that's how I vote. So Salem losing to someone on this list, I think I probably would have kept with them at number 1. However, no offense to Mooney, but Mooney was not in the top 10, and I believe had a losing record to that point. Salem loses, and just as I think the first time when they were number 1 and they slipped down to 5, they were in trouble because everybody else was winning. Well, unfortunately for them, everybody else was losing this time. So Salem didn't lose as much ground. At least that's how I interpreted the votes this week. We had people voting Salem still number 1. Obviously, Howland, we had a few people voting for Howland number 1. And we even had a vote for Louisville for number 1, even though they had a tough loss this week. So
Saturday against Hoover.
That's the Hoover. But people, when I asked, they said, well, Hoover, and Anthony said the same thing. Hoover has a much better record and plays a much better schedule than Salem does from the standpoint of losing to Cardinal Mooney. So I get it on both sides. It's really interesting how people, also my buddy Joe Gatto is referring to the OHSA brackets that just came out. I see. Okay.
Canfield's ahead of Howland?
I don't know.
Why? Why?
I don't know. Anthony's going to talk about it, or maybe he already did. I know that he and Ty are breaking down the brackets, and we'll have coverage on ysnlive.com with the story. But from a standpoint, CJ, when you look at power rankings, whether it be professional, college, or even high school in this case, have you ever seen this much movement in power rankings? And does everything in your opinion, does it have to go between wins and losses, or do you throw in strength of schedule? Is there like a blender of things that you kind of throw in?
Yeah, I think it's mostly a blender of things. It's really interesting seeing these, power rankings and how they shake up each week, because generally, when you get to the professional level, it tends to be pretty consistent. You may have someone get knocked off at 10 or 9, someone else jumps on. I think we saw it in the boys. Struthers, they jumped up to 5 and they weren't even listed last week. I mean, it's interesting how these lists, fluctuate, and I think it's a good thing between these teams. We have such great basketball in the area, and it just showcases how highly each of these teams are thought of. Even if you're kind of like a fringe team, like just making the power rankings, it just means somebody's been thinking about you and thinking highly of your program. And listen, as a coach, for me, I wouldn't really care about being on a power ranking, but I know for the players, it would be something cool to consider.
I'm with you on that, and I think coaches. We talked to Josh Scott last week, and he kind of echoed what you're talking about when he says, "Yeah, this is cool. We appreciate you thinking of us, but this is not what we play the game for." And I respect that, certainly. I mean, it's something cool for us. Gives us something to talk about and a lot to debate about. Certainly, Canfield still holding strong at 8. At 12-5, if you remember right, in the early going, they were the cream of the crop until Salem kind of took over, and now Howland is the number 1 slot. Which, listen, you can say whatever you want about those top 4 teams, but right now between them, Salem they were the top dog. They got knocked off by Mooney. It was a tough game for them, and I really think they're going to have some tough sledding in front of them. Now the region lines up, their bracket lines up for them very well, but it sounds like they're going to have to deal with some key injuries down the stretch that could turn their season upside down, and they're just going to have to keep doing what they've been doing this entire time and just keep believing in themselves. So we'll see how this goes. Poland's still holding at 5, but they got a tough week ahead of them. 3 games in 3 days, as I understand it. So we'll be keeping our eye on that. Let's turn over to the boys real quick. Camel with a big win over Cheney last week, just flexing their muscles, 15-1 as they stayed top dog on the charts. East Liverpool just kind of waiting, hanging around 13-3 at the 2 spot. Springfield got a vote for number 1 on the power rankings, and you can see why. They've beaten everybody that has been put in front of them, and I think you're looking at, how do you say, you're looking at someone who you can make a justification for why they should be number 1 because they've won every single game. I get it. I understand it. However,
beat Ursuline, Lowville twice.
Yeah, I would love to see Springfield versus Camel matchup. I'd love to see Camel versus East Liverpool matchup, and I think they're working on that. So it'll be interesting down the stretch to see how this shakes out. Louisville, people love Louisville. That Jackson win really settled in the hearts of the voters this week. I think with an 11-5 record, they lost the game as well. So they add 1 to both sides of the column. And Struthers and Liberty out of nowhere. Struthers has been on before. Liberty, I believe this is their first time on the boys' side on the charts, and they propelled themselves into the heart of the voters for the 5 and 6 spot, respectively. West Branch with that tough loss to Salem on Friday.
The bounce back against
What's
Tuskegee.
that?
With the bounce back against Tuskegee.
Yeah, they got to bounce back, certainly. But I think that the Salem game, especially given the score of the Salem
for them.
Game, that it hurts them in the power rankings. I don't think it'll hurt them too much down the stretch, other than maybe in the EBC. But West Branch is still a phenomenal team and doing big things this year. Heartland Christian climbs up from the 10 spot to the 8 spot and getting some love. Amo, you're a big believer in this Heartland Christian bunch.
I like the 8 and 9. I like 8 and 9. I like Heartland and Louisville. I like them both.
You look Louisville, tough loss to Springfield, but Springfield being at the number 3 spot for I think the 3rd week in a row.
I mean, Louisville's lost to Heartland and Springfield twice and beat Campbell.
Yeah.
So I mean that tells you right there they've lost to 2, okay, in quotations, top 10 teams, and then beat the number 1 team. So
and I think this is the big one
proves,
for me.
yeah.
Look at Cheney. Cheney was top dog for a long time, and
yeah, they were.
I don't know what to think about this team anymore. I love them. I wish we could, get more love for them, but man, they've had a fall from grace from 1 to 10 here, and they're borderline on maybe not being in the top 10.
Right.
So it's interesting to me. What do you think the issue is for Cheney this year? It's just inconsistency.
It's kind of like West Branch. You just don't know what team you're going to get, kind of. Like you watch West Branch, and some games they're just firing, right? And then other games, like the Salem game, was just a struggle for them. But then they bounce back with a huge Tuskegee game. And then you look at Cheney, same thing. One day they're, arguably the best team in YSN, and then the next day it's a struggle for them, right?
I agree. I like Sal
both really
Volcano's
good teams, though.
Listen, I'm a Howland.
I'm
a Howland believer, man.
them.
They got me
How
believing.
is Canfield above them? That's the part that I don't know what goes into that, I guess, for the
Bananas.
brackets.
Chris Ziegler says Garfield and Brookfield 10A, 10B. I agree with that.
I agree with that.
Throw that in the blender. Nick says Howland is a very good team too. Alyssa Pompilia, certified baller, no
No
doubt.
kidding.
No doubt. Best to me, she's the best player in Trumbull County. Could be the best player in overall on YSN.
Oh, yeah.
She could be the player of the year on YSN. Springfield is the best team. It's not even close. The most talented team by far.
Is that boys?
It has to be. But Nick, I'm interested.
So I'll give you a little insight. I think for us it's hard to vote on strength of schedule because of you're looking at D1 teams, D2, D3, right? D4. Yep. So it's hard to for example, you could say Louisville has had a tougher schedule than Springfield, right? In basketball.
Sure.
But it's tough for us to do that, to go strictly off a strictest schedule like you are in NFL, NBA, where you're doing like for like. For us, you got to look at who's winning, right? And I think that tells for the girls. Because, you look at some of those girls' teams, there's some girls' teams that aren't ranked that should be talked about as well. There's also some of the boys as well. But I kind of do it who's playing good right now. But
Jeff Collins chirping in says, I would disagree. Camel would provide problems for Springfield. I would agree with that.
I've called a couple Louisville games. I'm not shocked, but how did they beat Campbell? You know what I mean? Like, that's one of mine. Like, that's what made me.
That was the one at the Rocket Mortgage, wasn't it?
Yeah, correct.
So you look at that, and I don't want to, and this is going to come off really
It's nothing
bad.
against Louisville, but
I don't want to say that it doesn't count, but I think those games should be exhibition games. You know what I mean? Because it's a different atmosphere. You're playing in front of, a stadium that holds how many? 20,000 people, and there's usually like 100. So you got basically an empty arena that you're playing on. It's a different feel to it.
NBA hoop.
The floor floats. There's a
that.
giant jumbotron like you're at Cowboy Stadium right over top of you. And again, I shouldn't say it the way that I did. It's not that it shouldn't count. It's that there is so much going into that game that I'm not surprised.
One team was ready to play, and the other team,
it wasn't. You can take it in. And listen, there's a lot to it, and you don't want to make excuses for anybody, but Salem girls had homecoming on Friday night, and they had a game Saturday. And
after halftime, they had 2 made baskets and 13 points. You could just tell. You could tell watching. It's like Salem just doesn't have it today. We were
all athletes, right? And we all remember going out to a party, whether it's homecoming or a regular party, a night before, and then for baseball guys, we had to go and we had to play a doubleheader the next day. Not the smartest thing in the world, but listen, in high school, you're not missing parties, and you're not going to miss homecoming.
So you'll like this. My senior year, our Louisville game got canceled for soccer. I think it was weather reasons or postponed. And they moved it to the day of fall homecoming at Louisville. So all of us seniors had to go. I think the game was at 2. We got done at 4, and we were right into our tuxes. You know what I mean? Like, it was like, well, I think Louisville handled us pretty badly. And to be honest with you, it should have been a lot closer. But it's one of those games, like you were saying, it's just like, what are we doing here? Like,
I'll never understand it. And it's one of those things where in spring, I'm the one that complains about it because I'm like, all right, can't we just play a game in the morning and everybody gets all gussied up and dressed to the nines at night? I mean, they've literally built like a 3-day buffer around prom nowadays. So that way, like, girls can get their hair done the day before instead of the morning of. And it's like, holy, like, come on. But
crazy, isn't it?
To me, it's a natural excuse. It really is, because you got homecoming, and then a lot of kids go out after homecoming to somebody's house, or they'll go to, go out to eat somewhere. I don't know, places. Taco Bell's not even open anymore past like 4:15 in the afternoon. So from my standpoint, there's just a lot around those things that nobody puts any stock into. And good for Mooney for understanding that and going and bringing it to Salem's front door. And I think, we've talked about this before on this show. Can losing in the midst of a season help you later on? Maybe. But unfortunately,
it would hurt them too.
It could hurt
at this point. Yeah. I don't think it's going to affect Salem in that sense. I mean, those girls are some of the best girls around. Yeah. That's not from just an athlete standpoint, just truly the best
character.
Girls. I mean, yeah. I know them. They won't use it as an excuse for homecoming. They just didn't. They just weren't there. You could just tell watching it, but you could tell the fourth quarter. It was like, okay, there's the Salem that we've been accustomed to, but it was just too little, too late. And give Mooney credit. Every time Salem kind of like McClish hit that 3, I think, to get it within 2, I think, maybe 3 at that point. And Mooney was like, nope, we're not having it. Like, Mooney could have lied down and say, oh, here comes Salem, right? They did the opposite. It's like, all right, we're going to keep punching you in the mouth,
Sure.
And to Salem's credit, they kept getting up. It's just, they just dug themselves a hole. But I thought that fourth quarter was Salem basketball.
It was.
It got back to the,
Salem can take some punches, right? But the one punch they can't take right now is losing a key contributor. And it sounds like that's what's going to happen. Without getting too deep into it, it's a topic that's going to come up this week on the Power Hour. It's not going to be hard to it sounds like she's going to be okay. It sounds like she's going to be able to play. But the question's still going to be is she going to be 100%? Is she going to be able to be what she was along the line? And that
district is loaded.
It is.
I mean, that's got to be one of the toughest districts for girls basketball. You got West Branch, Marlington, Poland, Salem, Perry, Kensington, Chagrin Falls. I mean, the list. Salem's got the easier one.
That's what you said. Yep.
West Branch is going to have to play Poland. I saw they're playing Niles, so I think that means West Branch isn't taking a bye first round, so they would play Poland in the third round.
Run it back.
So, but that's not even. Then it gets to Marlington, if Marlington wins, right? And then you get Salem and Perry. So it's like West Branch has to go through a gauntlet, or Poland. So I don't want to take Poland out of this either.
You got to win those games. You can't lose to brothers. You can't lose to Salem.
I would love to see a Poland West Branch versus Salem for the district championship.
Oh,
I think it very well could come down to that. But
who would?
Marlington's going to, but I'm pulling for Poland and West Branch.
We'll see how it goes, man. We'll see how it goes. That's the beauty about tournament time, man. It's my favorite time of year, especially in basketball.
Howland's in a loaded one too, but that's Division I. So I mean,
it was a Howland and I think they were going over it right before I was getting on the show, and they said Howland and Canfield could come out of it.
Yeah, that's. I mean, you're in Division I, so you're talking completely different, right?
Yeah.
I mean, are they our only 2 Division Is? No, we got Boardman, right?
Boardman is Fitch.
I would assume Fitch is, but that's just me assuming, though.
That's why
they're playing. You want to talk about a team that's playing good basketball?
Austintown Fitch.
Fitch girls. Like, I was talking to Sigler. I wanted to put them on there for the girls, but I kind of forgot, and I forgot until today. And I was like, you know what? But I probably wouldn't have, just because it's like I want to show the small schools. Like, Fitch is deserving of it.
Yep.
But it goes back to that strength of schedule thing. Obviously, Fitch is deserving of it. Now they play. Oh, who did I see? They got a tough one coming up here. Do they play Canfield Wednesday? I believe, because I think Canfield plays Fitch.
Fitch Boardman played tonight.
Okay, I think Fitch plays Canfield coming up. So
It's gonna be interesting, man.
You know, Fitch could be in the top 10 by the end of
the nitty gritty, as they say. We have to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about this past weekend in the National Football League, and a lot of people lost a lot of money. A lot of money.
Did you guys see the guy that got both scores right and made $597,000?
I didn't see that. Did you see the guy
he made a $20 bet?
$20.
Yeah,
what?
Guessed both scores correctly.
This is why my wife allows me to bet, because one day she thinks that's going to be me. One day. I bet
$20 he came away with. I think it was like 590 or something like that. That's just whatever. You know what I mean?
If I go missing from YSN for a while, I won the jackpot. So
DJ hit it big.
Just so you know.
He hit a 15-leg parlay with.
That's it, man. I'm going for it. I'm going for it this week. It's birthday week. I'm blowing some money. We're going to take a break. Again, when we come back, we'll talk about the NFL. Who's surprised about who's in the Super Bowl? I am, for one. I'm very surprised. Talk about it. We come back on the Ysn Power Hour, presented by these sponsors.
Every customer has a story, and at Greenwood Chevrolet, we are committed to making sure it ends with you in the right vehicle. I get to be part of somebody's adventure, whether it's buying a car for the first time, helping them get approved, or finding the perfect car for their budget. I'm proud that people trust me with their finances. They trust me to take care of them, and they trust me with their story. I'm Tracy, and I'm ready to go the extra mile for you, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
Working with your family can be stressful at times, but because they're family, you know that you're going to get a loving, honest answer, even when things don't make sense, to any problem. Dealing with Medicare can be confusing and overwhelming. That's why here at Myers Family Insurance, we do our best to give you honest and caring answers to all of your questions. Family, like Medicare, isn't always perfect, but when you put others first, the results can be amazing.
For all your Medicare needs, call Myers Family Insurance.
Storm season.
I think we're under the gun for some heavy storms over the next couple of hours.
And Storm Tracker 21 is ready.
This is probably the one we're keeping a closer eye on.
On air.
And locally, we're going to have a lot of eyes on our area.
Online.
All right, let's talk high-risk futurecast and the timing of this weather.
On social media and on our app.
Notice we'll have scattered showers on Thursday.
Stay ready with Storm Tracker 21.
The severe weather threat now through around sunset this evening.
Hi, this is Tommy Clem, owner of WRS Insurance Solutions.
WRS Insurance Solutions is a local, independent agency that specializes in life, Medicare, long-term care, and disability products. Call us at 330-953-3722 or visit us at wrsinsurancesolutions.com to learn more.
Good luck to all the student athletes in the Valley.
And welcome back to the YSN Power Hour. DJ Yoakley with you. CJ Schroeds, the Heart Doctor. I don't know why I said that. I think that should be your nickname, the Heart Doctor.
I like it.
And then we have, of course, Aaron Mosier. We affectionately refer to him as Amo here on the show. Boys, over the weekend, my weekend just revolved around gravitating towards these games. I just wanted to see who won it. I thought I knew from the jump who was going to win it. I thought it was going to be the Chiefs and the Niners. They're going to run it back because the Rams can't win because of OBJ and every Browns fan on my Facebook page. Stafford's, he can't play in big games. And da-da-da-da-da. Joe Burrow's a joke. Baker Mayfield's better than Joe Burrow. This quarterback, enter quarterback name here, is better than Joe Burrow. He's a joke. Kaboom. 27-24. The Chefs are not in the Super Bowl, surprisingly, this year. So raise your hand if you were surprised about this one. I'm not going to lie to you. I was shocked. Shocked, I say.
There you go. I got it in there.
What are your takeaways, CJ, from you? What are your takeaways from a 27-24 game? What was the turning point? What did the game hinge on? What did it for you? Oh, my gosh.
Don't die on us.
I'm dying.
So, first, what it proved is that the Steelers are going to have their hands full for the next decade.
Oh,
and
God.
This is going to be a pain. It's going to be a pain dealing with Joe Burrow and company there. But he's legit, man. He's very fun to watch. I think the game changed. See, a lot of people are saying like before halftime, when the Chiefs didn't kick field goal, they got a little overconfident, a little cocky right there. For some reason, I don't know what it was, that second half, Mahomes just didn't have it. He didn't look like the guy we'd basically seen for the last how many years. It's been late 4 or 5 years. I don't know what it was, but it wasn't a clean game. It wasn't a pretty game. The Bengals haven't, that hasn't been their motto all year, but they find a way to win, and that's the big thing. You can look at this Super Bowl matchup and say, "Oh, Rams easy." The Bengals aren't supposed to be there.
That's what we heard all week. It was going to be Chiefs easy. I just kept saying over and over and over when the game ended, oh my God, the Bengals are in the Super Bowl. The Bengals, 2-14 2 years ago, are in the Super Bowl.
And 4-12 last year.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, Joe Burrow was hurt for a little bit, but still.
What was your takeaway, Amo?
So, I guess from Kansas City standpoint, I don't understand. You were aggressive to end the half by trying to score, that touchdown there to go into half. And then you get the ball at the 2-yard line with a minute left. And Bengals didn't have any timeouts. Score. Quit trying to be cute and do this thing of, we're just going to get it into the end zone. I'm not one to say the game was over, but you were going to be up 4 if you make the extra point. So I'll say that. If you make the extra point, you're up 4. Why not take your chances? You would have been up 4, getting a touchdown and an extra point.
Yeah.
Why not take your chances? And Bengals had no timeouts. I mean, that's the part I don't understand. You were
because I think they were gunshots in the first half.
Yeah, and Mahomes just looked like he went conservative along with the Chiefs themselves. That whole mantra of, we got this. And they turned it on to tie it. You could see it's like, okay, there's the Chiefs. They're starting to here we go. And then in overtime, they went back to the conservative where it was kind of like, what? What are we doing? And then he makes that throw, and it was kind of like, But give credit. I said the Bengals to win. You got to keep it under 30, and you have to keep it ugly. And what did they do? They did both of it.
Yeah, they mucked it up.
So more power to them. I mean,
but they played
them out. I'm not.
They played AFC North football. That was the AFC North that I'm used to, and I'm watching it, and I'm like, wow, it's like watching, power football against finesse football. Like, power's eventually going to wear down.
I would agree. Yeah. I would agree with
that. Congratulations to the Bengals. Again, I'll say it one more time. The Bengals are going to the Super Bowl. I cannot believe it. I'm happy for Joe Burrow.
I'm excited to see what it does for that franchise. From the sense of, everybody talks about their owners being frugal, right? And you could even tell when the guy was talking, it was just like, I'm not a big fan of, is it Mike Brown?
Yeah.
Not a big fan of him. Even when he was talking, it was just like, dude, you don't know what you got here. You have a group of guys that are all of that old mantra of, we got something to prove. Like Les Miles telling Jamar Chase he can't be a wide receiver. Yeah, dude can't be a wide receiver. And then you got Joe Burrow, who got not cut, but basically got beat out by Haskins at Ohio State. Goes down, plays well for LSU with that chip on his shoulder of, oh, if you guys don't believe me, and then, oh, he's going to be a 6th-round pick. No, I'm going to be a Heisman Trophy winner. I'm going to get first, I mean, it's just that.
I'm interested, Amo, in the sense that this next team we're going to talk about did it completely different. The Rams just went out and bought their way to a Super Bowl.
Yankees,
and I respect that.
The Yankees, I guess, would be
no.
Kind of the I'm saying in the sense of you bought in all this talent, but they actually completed on it. So
if the Detroit Lions are going to dangle out one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL and just say, here you go. Okay, we have a window. And they understand that window. Here's what the Rams are doing that the Browns, and I hate to even be that guy because the Browns had the perfect opportunity to do what the Rams did, and they didn't.
Under Baker's rookie contract, go out and get everybody.
Go out and just sell the farm to get whatever you need right now. Cleveland has proven that if you get one championship, they will burn that city down. And the amount of revenue that you'd be able to garner from one championship should lead you to your next 3. But
that's what they were saying about the Indians. Did you ever hear that story? No. So I guess they got a bunch of money from the World Series, obviously.
Sure.
So we weren't supposed to make it that year because of the pitching staff that went down. Kluber was pitching, every 2 or 3 days during that stretch. I guess Dolan's was planning on making it the next year, which you shouldn't, right? And they were going to give the money to Lindor as a straight, this was all of our revenue. Here's our best offer that we can offer you that, essentially this is our 1-year window, 2-year window. Just because on the money they received from everything coming in. And then when they didn't make it, it was like what just happened? And you could see it was like the same thing with the Rams. It's like, no, we're going all in. I love it. And
I love what the Rams have done.
Was it Mark Schlereth or somebody said today that Goff is going off of their books. Michael Brockers, who I think they traded to the Lions in that trade, and there was another one, and they're going to free up $39 million this year. So, in theory, they could go out and sign Von Miller and OBJ again.
Oh, and by the way, the Super Bowl's in their dojo. So,
you see what they're charging for parking?
I saw what they're charging for a lower bowl ticket.
$5,900, I think.
$39,000 for a lower bowl ticket.
$39,000.
Yes, sir. $39,000. I was the idiot that told my wife. I said, "Hey, guess what? If somehow Ben Roethlisberger and the Steelers make it to the Super Bowl, I'm going." I'm telling you what, boys. She's laughing right now because at the end of the day, if I would have told her I'm buying a ticket for $39,000, she would have said, "Oh, are you? Okay." I would have come home from the Power Hour today, and my stuff would have been all over a snow-covered lawn. Good night. So thank you, Pittsburgh Steelers. Thank you, Kansas City Chiefs, by the way. Thank you for saving my marriage.
So do you think that's because it's in LA, or do you think it's more just because it's a Super Bowl?
I think it's because it's Super Bowl. I really do, because there was limited capacity last year.
Oh, that's true.
And now they're trying to make their extra money back. And like, I saw one. You're basically touching the top of the SoFi, whatever it is, the SoFi Superdome. You're still paying $10,000.
Oh, that's it.
Like, there's no like. I would give $1,000 for a ticket to the Super Bowl. That's where the line is for me. Unfortunately, the guy would be like, "Yeah, you're $38,000 short, big boy." Hey, who do we got there?
Tucker.
Hi, Tucker. All right, the Rams game. Was anybody surprised at the outcome, or was anybody surprised that the Rams had to come from behind to win this game? That's where I was. Matt Stafford, not exactly the quarterback we thought he'd be in this game, but there are Jimmy Garoppolo believers amongst us, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, I knew it was coming.
The Jimmy G believers, who's all about winning percentage instead of.
I like Jimmy.
games actually won.
take
Explain your
Jimmy
Jimmy
over Baker.
Garoppolo obsession, my friend.
Okay, I like Baker. Do I think he's our answer? I think he's shown that he can be. I guess you could look at it two ways, because with that story, I was a big component of Odell. Now, when he told Von Miller after we won in the playoffs and made it to the playoffs, don't come here, was he really in it this past year?
No, he was trying to stand up for his dude. Look at
I understand that.
The show that Cleveland put on. Would you, if I was your friend, Amo, if I was your friend.
Oh, this is Cleveland to a T.
What I'm saying is, if I was your friend and I wanted to play with you, I would be like, dude, it is not good here. It is not fun.
Maybe that's what he was doing, which I guess.
That's what I see it as.
That's what it is.
Cleveland fans take it personally, and I understand. It's nothing. That team is the same team that the Steelers had when AB and Lev Bell and Roethlisberger. And I mean,
I'll give you that.
It's all drama. And I think OBJ was like, man, you don't want any of this. He knows they're friends. He knows.
And I think the media in Cleveland is terrible. And I'm just going to say it, because when OBJ, I think it was like the first couple of games, he was struggling. But he was hurt, and Baker was hurt that offseason. So they didn't get that like chemistry, and they're trying to do it on the field that first year. He was struggling, and the media went right into, OBJ is not a team player. And it was like, wait a second.
Dude, the guy got hurt last year.
He hasn't said anything, and then he goes to LA.
This whole
with
dialogue,
half the targets, and you haven't heard anything from him.
The whole
player.
Dialogue started, Amo, last year when he got hurt, and all of a sudden the Browns started doing well. And if you and I are hearing these rumors, what do you think he's hearing? He all I heard was, we don't need OBJ. Screw it. Trade him away for X, Y, and Z.
He created so much. I mean, you got to think, like, I was watching the pregame with Randy Moss, and he was showing how they're now using OBJ in Cooper Kupp's scenario. So they ran a play where they had Cooper Kupp run in motion, and OBJ was kind of like, it sounds bad to say decoy, but he was the decoy for if when Cooper was running the wheel route, Cooper got it and was wide open.
Yep.
The next week, they did it with OBJ doing the same thing Cooper was doing, and Cooper was the decoy for OBJ, and they hit, and it was like, it's this thing of they're both opening for each other, and they both can do the same things.
Well,
that is what OBJ is. He's a great guy at, if you don't respect him and you think, he's not going to do anything, he's going to be wide open. Like 49ers were single and covering him, saying throw to OBJ, and OBJ was
9
like,
receptions
fine.
for over 100 yards.
Yeah. I'll stop my route right here and get a catch. Now I think I read the article where OBJ kind of does his own thing, which you can kind of tell, because on some of those you could tell he just stopped. I think that's where Baker struggles. Baker's more of you weren't supposed to do that. Like he's still trying to learn the game where you got Stafford.
Baker's the kid at the playground who, if you don't let him play on the monkey bars, or he doesn't get to go across the monkey bars first, then guess what? He's going to go home, and he's going to pout about it the whole way home. That's who Baker. You know who Matt Stafford is? Matt Stafford is the kid that goes, all right, man, cool. Just you be you. I'm going to go down this slide and go kiss your girlfriend on the other side of the playground. That's who Matt Stafford is. He's a cool, calm, collected dude who's just like, listen, I'm just here to win games.
He made some throws in that fourth quarter to show that,
You know who didn't make throws in the fourth quarter? Jimmy G.
What?
You know who didn't make throws in the fourth quarter?
Oh,
Jimmy
he
G.
didn't.
And then you want to just pawn him. Like, you're sitting in there in your little text trying to pawn Jimmy G off to the Steelers. Like, I don't know what you're trying to do here. Jimmy G looks really good, doesn't it? No, dude, he stinks. Don't keep him away from Pittsburgh. The only person that would benefit from him are the female species. They would think he's handsome and go. His face, unbearded, would not survive a Pittsburgh winter. I will say that right now. It wouldn't do it.
That's why Big Ben always had one.
Bring that 5 o'clock shadow with you. But from my standpoint, like, Deebo Samuel's turned into one of my favorite players in the NFL.
Oh,
I love him.
I love him. I love how they use him.
Yep. But that also tells me how bad Jimmy G is you've got to get 6 guys on your either receiving core or your running backs to be able to throw the football 40 yards downfield because your quarterback can't do it effectively. Lance is the future of that franchise, and I'll put that money down. What you talked about in the bet, I will put that money down. Trey Lance gets them to the promised land yesterday. If he has a season under his belt, 100%. 100%.
As a 1-year stopgap guy, would you want Jimmy G or would you just even for 1 year?
Okay, let's play the game real quick. Haskins or. Okay?
Yeah.
Haskins or Jimmy G?
I would take Jimmy G.
Wow. Why? How?
For 1 year?
To hold? For Boswell? Like who?
I mean,
what?
But listen, right? It's not like he's a scrub, right? He does win. I mean, he's made it this far a couple years in his career. Now, is he a guy that you
do you remember last year when he only threw the ball 6 times in a game?
Tannehill only threw it 9 times and got to the conference championship.
And look at what he's got in his backfield.
Am I saying they're going to win a Super Bowl with him? No, but
no,
I mean, it's not like he's some country bumpkin coming from nowhere, right? He's
Eastern Illinois. Like him and Romo can have a s'more over who was the best quarterback out of the small school. Like,
but what I look at in the field that the Steelers have,
Romo or Jimmy G?
Romo, because at least he'll be a cool broadcaster. When he throws his pick.
But what I look at what the Steelers have right now, would you rather have Mason Rudolph going up against Burrow and Lamar
Haskins
Jackson?
Do you think Haskins is going to be the starter?
I think he has a lot. There's a reason that the Steelers did not showcase him when they could have. There's a reason.
I agree with that.
They're keeping him very locked down because I think that they see. I mean, Ben said it. Haskins can throw a football through a car wash and the ball doesn't get wet. That was the coolest thing I saw. And Ben Roethlisberger.
Where did he come up with that quote? Because that is a cool quote. Like, I'm going to start using that.
Use it, man. Use it during
your
games.
Tomlinism. That's a Tomlinism right there.
The standard is the standard. How it is. I think Haskins has been kept undercover because the Steelers know what they have in him. They've got a first-round talent in him. Can they polish him up?
Absolutely.
But he's mobile. They keep talking about mobile. He's a mobile quarterback, and he could throw the ball 70 yards on a dime.
His thing is the maturity, which I think him getting that realization that when he got cut from Washington, that it's like, oh, I can get like cut in this business. Like, I think that did a lot for him.
Okay, so Jeff's got a point here. Derek Carr or Haskins? I'm taking Carr. Let's go.
I don't think the Raiders are going to get rid of Carr, though, dude. I mean,
I don't know. Who's their coach?
Well, apparently Josh McDaniels.
I'm interested. Is he going to be able to work with Carr, or does he want to go into the draft and go get his Tom Brady? And by the way, McDaniels has done this before, and it didn't work out for him, so he went back to Boston. We'll see. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I constantly play the Haskins or game in my head when I'm looking at quarterbacks, like Kirk Cousins or Haskins. That's kind of a toss-up for me. Like, Cousins is going to manage the game. He's probably not going to win you too many. But can the Steelers win some games with their offense as opposed to just, trying to maintain and not get outscored? I don't know. It's going to be interesting.
So that's what I read an article in Bleacher Report today that the 3 contracts the Steelers should give up to create cap room. Rudolph was one of them. And I was kind of surprised by that, but I think that was the thing of get him under the big contract and sign him for something better for the team friendly. Benny Snell was one.
Haskins is not okay. Chris, who are we comparing Haskins to? If we're comparing him to Lamar Jackson, you're right. He's not moving. We're comparing him to freaking the pregnant woman quarterback Ben Roethlisberger. Like, anything is more mobile than Ben Roethlisberger. Like, you've had bowel movements that are more mobile than Ben Roethlisberger. That's an honest statement. So Chris is getting me all fired up because he knows how I feel about Haskins. I'm not in love with him, but he's going to be a better all-around player for the Steelers for 1 year. For 1 year. And if we go 8-9 or we go 9-8 or whatever it is that we'll end up going, naturally. Then you go get a quarterback, which is a much better quarterback draft class. Pickett or Haskins? Oh, Haskins.
I've been on the Pickett train forever, so I'm all for Pickett. If somehow God blessed the Steelers one final time to get a quarterback, I want Pickett.
I've said I think the Steelers are in a great scenario where I've said I even text you the Steelers are going to make the right decision in the sense of but if Kenny Pickett falls to him, how do you not draft him? Like in my thing of if he falls to you, which I don't know
if he falls to you at 20, he's not your guy. That's my argument.
But that would also throw some red flags for me on some teams past him.
Yep. Because there's some teams that are in front of the Steelers that need a quarterback as much, if not more, than the Steelers.
I would agree with you. Like, what aren't we seeing, you know?
Pat Narduzzi would like a word with you. Here's my thing. Like, when Roethlisberger fell, you guys heard the story, I'm sure, about –
Perfect fit.
Yeah. They were going to take the guy I hate. Phil Rivers. They were going to take Phillip Rivers. And when Rivers got drafted, Colbert said everybody kind of looked around the war room and they're like, oh my gosh, that means we're going to get Roethlisberger. And they all celebrated. They started popping champagne and everything because they didn't want Rivers, but that was who they were going to get. Now, I hate the guy. Would they have been okay without him? Probably. Would they have won a Super Bowl? Probably not. But I don't know that.
I think that 30 for 30 was really cool in the sense that the Giants knew the Chargers wanted Rivers. And they did the thing of, we don't really like Rivers, but since you guys like him and we like Eli.
Well, they worked out the trade before, and you're not allowed to do that, right?
Right.
And the Chargers could have said, yeah, well, no thanks. And they would have been stuck with Phillip Rivers. In fact,
that's why I said Pittsburgh was in the perfect scenario where it was like they got the perfect guy for them.
Sam Howell or Haskins? Corral or Haskins?
I don't really like either of those two. I don't know.
If I had to take one, I would go Sam Howell and Haskins are on the same level to me. I think the one kid that is kind of making me lean more towards a quarterback this year is that the kid from Liberty. Yes. Yeah. He has a rocket for an arm. A rocket. Steelers fans begrudgingly can live with Rudolph.
I agree with Chris. Get the other holes first, and then
you know why?
Now let's go get our quarterback.
You know why, Sigler? It's because Haskins is mobile. Just gonna put it out there.
Haskins can throw the ball too. I think that would be a really good fit.
He is another version of Ben Roethlisberger. Huck it, chug it football. He's big. He's physical. He is mobile.
And are you guys keeping Matt Canada? Like, has that been?
Yes, they are. They are.
Have they said any word on the DC? Like, who's they like? Or
no, they're bringing in some guys.
I saw that Chris Richard or whatever, which I was kind of like, why? He didn't do good with Dallas. That's kind of like my.
Dude, get Dick LeBeau out again. Let him get a couple more years.
Could you imagine Dick LeBeau with this defense?
Let's go. Oh. Browns need to get a draft a QB to fire Baker up again, but y'all ain't ready for that conversation.
You don't want that.
It's because Baker's soft. He's soft.
You don't want
he would
that.
be the pity party guy. Oh, you drafted another quarterback. Trade me. They should go after a quarterback from Latonia. All right. Suit him up.
Did you see Jeff Collins said we should put Latonia in our top 10?
I know. Leave Latonia alone, man. They were the first ever to sign on the dotted line for YSN. Leave him alone. Leave Brittany alone. All right. You know what time it is, boys. It is time for the Joe Dickey Electric. What's Your Spark? Presented by our friends over at Joe Dickey Electric, proudly serving the Mahoning Valley for the last 60 years. We're going to skip the graphic today. Let's go right to CJ. What do you got?
So, positive spark. Over the weekend, it was on Saturday, got to do a game at Beaver Local for the Buckeye A Championship, and it was Beaver Local versus Union Local. It was a very good game. Got to do that with Chris Sigler which was phenomenal. Loved working
good
with
dude.
Chris. Yes, loved it. And what made it so easy was, I don't know much about basketball. I don't know if this has been apparent to people watching, right? But what I got to do was just announce what's happening on the court, and then I would stop talking, and Chris would be my beautiful color analyst. It was so beautiful. I got spoiled on Saturday. It was very fun.
He's great, dude.
Nick Colbert says,
"Oh, that game was awesome."
Sparks goes the Salem boys basketball team. Never seen a team more fired up after winning. Quit stealing my Sparks. This is what I get for going last every year, every day. Go ahead. Are you going to take it too, Amo?
No.
Okay, go ahead.
Positive spark. All right, I'll start out with my negative. I just don't know who to root for in the Super Bowl. I just don't know. Do I go with, Rams or Bengals? I can't go Bengals because of, the AFC North, so I'll probably lean toward the Rams. Positive spark. My boy, Grandpa Vic, turned 90 today and went out the flying bee. They cleared off a little spot for him out on number 10, and he hit a drive right down the middle.
Is that
90.
his?
Yeah.
Oh.
Cleared off a little spot on the tee box. His grandson Andy, who runs Flying Bee with some other people, they cleared off a nice little spot for him in the snow, and he popped one out there right down the middle like he always does. That's why I always pick him when we have our Saturday and Sunday games. He's my first pick every time.
I love it. Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
And he'll shoot. I'll guarantee you this year he'll shoot under his age of 90. He shot 87 last year, and he was pumped. Incredible. So I think he'll get under 90 again.
Incredible. All right, my negative spark is going to go to and Amo. You don't classify under this, I don't think. So you're off the hook today.
Right.
So the Bengals win yesterday, and the Bengals, in case you didn't know, are going to the Super Bowl. And every seemingly Ohio State fan that I know on social media, whether it's Twitter or Facebook,
I know you're going.
Here they come. Joe Burrow's my guy. Joe Burrow this, Joe Burrow that, and that is why, ladies and gentlemen, I'm wearing this jersey today. It is not scarlet and gray. It is purple and gold. The gold, okay, of LSU, the Bayou Bengals, because that's where Joe Burrow is from. That is where he made his hay, because he played for Ohio State. Now, Quinn Ewers, are you going to go support Quinn Ewers 4 years from now when he wins a Super Bowl with the Jaguars or whoever the hell? I'm sorry, man. Ohio State fans don't get everything. Like, you don't get to – it's a free country. You can root for who you want, but you don't get to claim Joe Burrow. I'm sorry. That ship has sailed, my friends. It's not coming back. Burrow left Ohio State, transferred out because Haskins and JT Barrett, right?
Yeah, I was just Haskins.
You chose your path. You don't get Joe Burrow, just like you won't get Quinn Ewers. You want to support Buckeyes, that's great. Joe Burrow, not a Buckeye. Again, for those of you in the back, Joe Burrow, not a Buckeye. Not happening. He is a Tiger, a Bayou Bengal. And now he's just a Bengal. So that is my negative spark. And I feel bad ending it on a negative spark. But here's a positive one for you if you want it. Remember a couple weeks ago, I was talking about spending the night with the whole family, the extended family.
Doing Chinese.
Yeah, eating the Chinese, doing all that stuff, and celebrating my father-in-law who turned 70 about a week ago. We celebrated that last night because there was the bad weather last week. So happy belated birthday, Papa Miller. We appreciate you, granddad, and everything you do for our family. It was a great time yesterday. The kids were having a blast, and I know he was too, watching all the smiling faces around the table. So happy belated birthday. Happy birthday. Happy 70th birthday, granddad. And we love you, and we always will. That is going to do it for our show. Sigler saying, Sparks, CJ did a great job calling Hoops Saturday. There you go. See? Don't deprive yourself of being a good
Do we got a tandem now? Do we got a little tandem?
Sigler works well with everybody. He's like
awesome.
jeans.
He really is.
That's what he is. He's jeans. He goes well with everything. So Congratulations, Sigler. We appreciate you, and we love you too. So that is going to do it for our show. Thanks for tuning in. Tomorrow, 3 to 4, right here on the Ysn Power Hour. On behalf of CJ and Amo, that's going to do it. Peace be with you, and also with you. YSN thanks you for watching this presentation of